The words hung in the recycled air of the repair bay like a confession waiting to be judged. Marcus wiped the grease from his hands, his weathered face showing no immediate reaction to Zilara's statement. The Quellan engineer stood before him, her three-fingered hands clasped together, her rounded form trembling slightly. Her species prized sleekness, angular bodies that could slip through tight spaces on their oceanic homeworld. Zilara was none of those things. "You're here about the job posting," Marcus said, not as a question but as a fact. He'd put out the advertisement 3 cycles ago, seeking assistant mechanic for human-run ship repair station. "All species welcome." "Yes, sir." Her voice carried the melodic quality all Quellans possessed, though hers wavered. "I know I don't look like much. My people, they say I'm defective. Too large, too slow. But I can cook. Every species that comes through here, I've studied their nutritional needs, their flavor profiles, their cultural preparations. I could feed your crew and maybe help with small repairs." Marcus leaned against his workbench, studying her. In his 15 years running the last Bolt station, he'd seen every kind of being the galaxy had to offer. He'd learned that desperation wore many faces, and Zilara wore it plainly. "Can you hold a wrench?" he asked. She blinked, her large eyes shimmering. Yes? Can you follow technical diagrams?" "Yes, sir. I'm quite good with spatial reasoning, actually." Marcus grabbed a diagnostic tablet from his bench and pulled up a complex wiring schematic for a Vexian freighter's power coupling. "Show me the fault in this system." Zilara stepped forward, her movements more graceful than she seemed to give herself credit for. Her thick fingers traced the holographic lines, following the power flow with surprising confidence. Within 30 seconds, she'd identified the 3 cascade points where the system would fail. "Here, here, and here," she said softly. "The insulators are rated wrong for the voltage fluctuations in Vexian hyperdrives. They'll work fine at sublight, but the moment they jump, the whole coupling will fry." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You've worked with Vexian ships before?" "No, sir. I read a lot. When you're not wanted, you have time to learn." Something in Marcus's chest tightened. Not pity, but recognition. He'd been that person once deemed useless by his own kind for refusing to follow the corporate path, for wanting to work with his hands in the black between stars. "The job isn't for a cook," he said, and watched her shoulders sag. "It's for a mechanic. If you can cook too, that's a bonus. But I need someone who can rebuild a fusion manifold at 3 in the morning when a hauler captain is screaming about lost revenue." "I can learn," Zilara said quickly. "I'm stronger than I look. Quellans might value speed, but humans value different things, don't they? Persistence, creativity, the ability to see problems differently." Marcus couldn't help but smile. "You've studied us too. Every species that comes through here," she repeated. "But humans especially. You're the ones who took a species that couldn't fly, couldn't breathe underwater, couldn't survive in extreme cold or heat, and you conquered your entire world anyway. Not because you were the best at any one thing, but because you refused to accept limitations." "That's a romanticized version," Marcus said, but his tone was gentle. "Perhaps." Zilara's hands unclasped and she stood a bit straighter. "But you also have a saying, the right tool for the job. I may not be the right shape for Quellan society, but maybe I'm the right shape for this." Marcus turned back to his workbench, considering. The station was growing. More ships meant more work, and he'd been running himself ragged for months. He needed help, yes, but more than that. He needed someone who understood what it meant to be underestimated. "Trial period," he said finally. "1 cycle. I'll teach you everything I know about ship repair. You'll work full days, and they'll be hard. If you can prove you're serious, the job's yours permanent." Zilara's eyes widened, their bioluminescent quality making them glow with hope. "Really? Really? But I've got one condition." Her expression faltered slightly. "What is it?" Marcus met her gaze directly. "Stop apologizing for your body. You're not too fat to be loved, and you're not too anything to be valuable. You're Zilara, and you're about to become the best damn mechanic in this sector. Got it?" For a moment, she simply stared at him. Then slowly, she nodded, and something shifted in her posture. A weight lifting. A chain breaking. "Got it, boss. Good. Now let's see if you can actually cook. Because I've been living on ration bars for 3 weeks, and I'm about ready to eat my own boots." Zilara laughed, a sound like chiming crystals, and followed him toward the station's galley. Behind them, the repair bay hummed with the promise of ships to fix. problems to solve, and a future neither of them had expected. In the cold black of space, the last bolt station spun on, a tiny beacon of light where the galaxy's unwanted could become its most essential. And in that moment, both Human and Quellen understood the most fundamental truth of survival. That worth was never about fitting in. It was about finding where you belonged.